Microphone check 1 2. Let's go. All right, I got an idea. Let's run with it. I would like to make some test blocks. Super simple. Guess I'm gonna use this tab. Yeah, fuck this thing. I'm gonna get back to that maybe at some point. Let's get back to my main server. Not this one. Not this one. This one. Reload. Whoops. Alright. I want some test blocks. Let's just go to test and make another page called test inside there. I've done this a bunch before. I usually lose sight of kind of what my test system should look like and work, how it should work. New folder in there called test /test/test, new file page.js, and this could be all right, so we just want, I guess we'll do app.root.add ac pad, and then so I was thinking about making an auto class, and let's think this through for a second. L style, and so it was something like auto is going to be display flex wrap, and then auto children are going to be flex 1 let's just say 400 pixels, something like that. And I think that should actually work pretty damn well for most cases. Let's see. So then we could give them classes like left and right. I'm kind of thinking the text area is over here. In fact, it could just be, I don't know, maybe I should wrap it. Let's try the text, yeah, text area, right? And then div.c, let's just call it a viewport for now. So let's get over to that page, test, boom, text area, 50/50, let's go. Now the basis is, I think the purple is showing the basis and then also that it's growing, so that's interesting. This is resizable, also interesting. Let's ask Gemini real quick. How do you make a auto height text area? I think the solution here is kind of wonky, but let's class auto height. Wait, what? What is star field sizing? Star. I think that's a LLM fumble there. I think it's just field sizing. Let's see, CSS field sizing. I mean, if it works, it works. CSS is probably the controller's sizing behavior of form elements, allowing them to adjust their size based on their content is particularly useful. Is it available? Browser support offers significant benefits. Its browser support is currently limited primarily Chrome and Edge. It's important to consider this when implementing it. So, might be, all right, what's the JavaScript? It has something to do with like doing some funky, what is this fucking star bullshit, man? I think it's just fucking up the comments. Why? just ignores my question. Oh. But it's not in the comment block. Oh, it tried to bold it, but it fucked it up. And okay, I see what's going on. I was trying to do one of these, and just the way that it formatted it. Okay, so yeah, it was something like you gotta switch the height. I don't know. ChatGPT told me something else, and I think I Googled it, and like the other way was a lot different. Or maybe it was a scroll height thing. I was just confused about what that meant. Well, let's see how the simple way is. Field sizing. All right, let's say L.C. I think we still go with element first on this, which is a little confusing, but let's just call it an editor. So here, editor is going to have field sizing. What was it? Content. I don't care if it's still resizable as long as that works. Let's save this. Hello world. Oh baby. That's cool because it didn't used to do that. Alright, now we don't want outline none, I think. Outline none. Because that's frickin', I don't know. It still flickers a little bit. It's actually not terrible, but can we add padding to it? Alright, let's just go with this. And then what were the other ones that said something about min height? Forget that. Max height? Forget that. Overflow Y. I know, we're just gonna let it go auto for now. This whole fucking thing yesterday was stupid. Alright, so, and then, whoops. Text area change event. Forget which one to use. Input immediately. Fires every time the content changes. This includes typing, deleting, pasting, cutting, and dragging. Real time, like auto resizing. Character counting. Okay. Change. Fires only when the element is defocused, blurred, and its value is actually changed, but this won't. When a key is released, but is sometimes less reliable, especially for paste cut. I think input is what we want. Now, I forget with my view. How does my view do? Core view find on. So yeah, we just use the event system from the L itself, so which is, I don't know, arguably confusing, but where was I? Page test. All right, so view or L, I think on input, and then do I call it with the right context? Yeah, call it with the proper context, which is right, or at least this is, well, I don't have the right function context here anyway. Do we pass in an argument? I could pass in this as the first argument, but I think that's not actually what we want here. That could get confusing, because if you needed a handle to this thing, but I could just do one of these. This editor should be available by the time the input thing fires. So and what's the text area value? I think it's text content. Just doing this bullshit again. Text area dot value. I think that's what we want. So we say const viewport equals this guy, and then up here viewport dot append. And then don't we have like a reset empty, and then append? Nice. Viewport dot empty editor dot l dot value. I think something like that. Div. Oh no, it's gonna append. Okay, so that's fine, but we actually want to eval. We want to viewport empty and then append a function that we're gonna try eval editor dot l dot value, and then catch, I believe this is an error, console dot, I'm just gonna log error, and then I feel like we should maybe have we should capture that bit. So try well, we're already appending it, but how do we, I think maybe we want to try, well, do we want to empty it first? We don't really want to empty it first before we try it, do we? Because then as you start typing, it's obviously going to throw an error immediately and just erase the whole thing. So how do we get this thing to preserve kind of the last view? Well, not 100% sure, but basically I think what we want is to be like, let's just say let content equals div.c content, and then viewport is going to get the content, and then we're going to, does this help us any? Maybe we want to create a new content element. Let's just try that for now. Could just be a constant in here. I think content equals div.c content, and then try content dot append. Catch. I've never really done much error handling, but I know this is going to throw errors, so that's why I'm trying to do this like this. Putting a big function in here doesn't feel right, but eval editor.l.value is what we're trying to catch. Try and catch. So wait, does try take? Try doesn't take. Try catch in JavaScript. What is this? Yeah, there is no condition here. We just take this bit, and then try thing. Whoops. Come on now. Content append. All right. So on every input, we make a new potential content div, and if I think we just do the swap here, and it's gonna, if there's no error, then it just I think we can just do content div, something like this, and then don't I have like a replace view? Yep. Now the replace method is a little confusing. It just does replace with, but I guess I can try and just do that. So then we want viewport.content.replace with, basically. Replace with is a better function name. I just don't want to do an underscore in there. Alright, otherwise, console.log error. And then we can maybe put like something on there. Alright, could this work? D, error, I, error, V. No error. Div is allowed. Parenthesis error. Other parenthesis. No error. One quote error. Two quotes. No error. H. No error. E. L. L. O. Okay. Y. Does it content append? Oh, what we want is why does it do that? I'm so confused right now. Content with a div, which is right, but all of these are going into the same content thingy. And there's two of them. Something's not right here. I think content append is fine. So maybe we need to not capture this thing. I think that might be part of what we want to do. So we actually have view here. I think maybe what we're going to do is do new, I haven't done this in a while, but new view. And then what was my bit for the body? Capture false. Capture. Now this is to get captured. And it sort of makes sense, but it should be a div, and then I think we can .ac content here. So that could help for a minute. But also, I still think it's going to be... It's not working at all now. Okay. Is the capture meaning it doesn't... It's like get captured is kind of what it's meaning there. I should probably change that, but why does this not work at all now? Viewport, there is content here, and I thought I was on the right track a second ago, but now if it gets here, we want to replace viewport. Oh, also we want viewport.content to equal content. We gotta replace it this way. I don't think that's gonna fix it though. Oh, there it is. Wow, so cool. Okay. That's what we wanted. Viewport, padding, 1M. And then how do you pre-populate the editor with some kind of code? So let's try this, and I think it's basically just, well, could we put div hello in there, and then I mean, we can make an editor method that's editor.update. Is that what we want? I think maybe. Use function, and then this whole bit goes in there, and then we just call editor.update, I think. Hello, but it doesn't update. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Because we never called it at the beginning. I think we need it after this. Editor.update. Why did it add? I think what's going on is that the flex is equalizing it, which isn't terrible. But I don't know if there's a way to center that. Probably don't want to. Well, let's give it a shot here. Could we... Can you display flex? I don't know if that's what I want. It probably just ignores it if I had to guess. No? And then align items? No. Align content? No. Vertical text align. I just don't think it's going to work and don't really care. I think it's fine. Could try and equalize the font size or something, but it's just a losing battle. Well, I could also take... I could kind of wrap the text area here so that it's... But I was also thinking if, for example... Well, so this auto column is pretty cool. Div.c auto left. Could I just do left and right? No, it's just going to capture both of these into itself. Don't, or does it append each one separately as a, it does, I don't think it creates a new div. I think the functions just go into itself. Now you could just wrap these in divs if you wanted to do that, but let's just go like this and then say, well, can we create a function called editor to create an editor? It's really a test function, that is what I want. And then use like backticks for the code rather than, so that I can use quotes a little bit easier. Let's try it. Function test. We're gonna have to make sure we're not conflicting there. Do we want a name? Maybe. But for now, we're just gonna say code. And then I guess we could just do one of these. Let's just put this in here for a second, and then this becomes the code. Boom. Nope, doesn't like that. Why not? Page 91. All the way at the bottom. Why? Syntax error. Tell me where. Oh. Okay, so I don't think I closed my function. Boom. Alright, we're back. Now, that thing wraps actually exactly how it should. It's really cool. so well, we're creating the block, so let's just say test console.log yo 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 save console yo yo yo. Boom. Man, that is fucking sweet. Because it has, I mean, you can put H1. This is an H1. Boom. It's fucking sweet. That's fucking sweet, man. That's some value right there. That's a sweet looking heading. These exclamation marks are awesome. So now can I have backticks in there? Whew. Let's see. Let's see if you can put backticks in this bitch. Alright, let's say this is gonna throw some errors maybe. Let's just get rid of this. Const num equals 5. Then let's use backtick. We're good so far. And then $, curly braces. So we're getting errors right here. Maybe because there's no... What is the error? I should log the error because... no, I shouldn't. It's just going to spam the thing, but I'm kind of curious. Fine, let me do it. Let's do it down here. Const num equals 5. H1 backticks. H1. This is an H. $, works. Curly bracket, bombs. Can't have a curly bracket in there? Maybe in backticks you can't have $, curly bracket. So that was still an error there. And it's not logging the friggin' error. I'd put the E in there. What? I think there's something funny going on there, but num. So it works. Boom, 5. That's cool, but why doesn't it give me the right error? Not sure. Let's see. Oh, error.message. How come console.log error doesn't log anything? No, but like, I don't think that's gonna work either. Let's try this again. H1 backticks. H1 $, bracket error. No. Oh wait, what? Am I in the wrong file? Oh, I'm editing the wrong one. I was okay. We need to change this to, well, this whole friggin' thing actually. Can we just do this actually? Undefined test. Let's just pass in an empty string. Boom, much better. Okay, now H1 backticks. H is not defined, unexpected, end of input. I could log those in like a cool little panel down there. And then this is an H $ bracket unexpected end of input bracket unexpected token. That shouldn't be unexpected, because this could just be like an empty string. So now it's fine. Is this fine too? Yeah. But if you don't put anything in there, it's like, come on, guys. You shouldn't have to put something in there. It's a valid expression. Just ignore it and keep going. But this is absolutely unacceptable. The program cannot continue. Okay, so this is cool though. And then I can start creating simple examples, and in my little style system with my navigation and all the things, I can actually have real code that you can edit and see how this shit works. Now, 400 pixels might be too small, because that's exactly where this is breaking. So let's think about that. On a mobile, it's definitely, yeah, I don't know. It's not terrible. It could go down to 300 even, though. 300 is pretty small, but it's a little more responsive, forgiving. And then for these little editor chunks, I could style them up a little bit. But man, that was actually quick and painless. It took a little bit of figuring out. I think I've done something like this before, but everything kind of worked more or less as expected. And the potential here is just incredible, because the documentation I need to like show people how my shit works. Now there is kind of an interim, like what if I wanted to render the HTML output, basically this div hello / div. Like if I could do like a third column even that kind of renders something like this. But I think getting to know the dev tools is probably just a better option. Why reinvent the wheel? All right, so this is cool. The fact that it re-executes on keystroke is kind of crazy. Well, could I put those log messages in this thing? Okay, let's make a. I kind of think this should be more like the editor text area. It's probably not the. I don't know if I like long class names, but I can live with that. What's going on down here? This should just be test. Good. Hello. Man, that's so cool. Simple code example. Can I put like a whole block in there? Now if I do something like this, it might not like it so much. Let's see what this even looks like. Yeah, it's gonna format it just like that. Well, so what I could do is, if I wanted like multi-line, I could just do this. Well, I could even tab it in, right? That's kind of interesting look. But if I wanted, for example, const num equals 5, hello, 5, ooh, not 5, num. That's not gonna work because it was an error. It's evaluating this bit from this backtick. Now, what if I move away from, let's use single quote for these two. Now we got a string, but it can't be multi-line because JavaScript's kind of retarded. Plus, how did we do that? Well, I think you have to do like /n, or do I don't need the plus, I just need this. So dumb. This plus new line. Oh my god. This, oops, this /n. We don't really need that, we just ended there. That's a little wonky, but if I think that should work. Boom. But it doesn't eval it because, yeah. Well, how would you get, why wouldn't it? It evals it, and it's a string. Oh, these need to be backticks inside the quote. That's no way that's gonna work. Whoops. Didn't I do a backtick there? There we go, backtick. Does that work? Do backticks inside quotes work properly? Boom. Boom, it evaluated it. Crazy. Took a little bit of swizzle to get that working properly. But if I wanted to illustrate like expressions, yeah, not even worth it trying to explain why that was so complex. But okay, so well, let's say sub num, let's say name equals Michael and hello, comma, name, exclamation. Hello, Michael. Boom, variables, templating, let's go. Okay, and then I was thinking this little test bit here, let's just say test, we could figure that out. Okay, so it's gonna be, I think maybe inside of this, we're gonna do div.c auto. Oops. So that then we can do, I don't know, this could change, but yeah, my editor variables no longer set up properly. Well, yeah, I don't know, I'm all over the place here on class names. But what I wanted was, yeah, down here, div.c status. Just call it status. But we need that handle already. Let status, and then status equals this guy, and then error status dot what are my view functions for values? I think I have a value method. I do have an HTML method, text method. I think text is fine. Let's just do status.text e.message. And so that should, whoa, what happened there? Viewport. Where's the background come from? Must be this test. Ah, yes, the test has a background. Okay, fine. Kind of looks cool. All right, so we want errors here. E, R, R, O, R. But now it's like persistent. Ooh. So if this happens, then we actually want status.text. We just say okay. But then, is this not ready yet? Let's just bring editor up here. Editor equals editor update has to go after that. Now, I don't really like that, but I wouldn't really want, I wouldn't really want it to be empty first, or pop down, and you know, like, you don't want jank, layout jank where it grows. So, well, it could be kind of like an invisible area that just appears. No, you don't want it to appear and disappear. That's weird. So I'd have to think about that. Creating some sort of like UI where it fits better is would be better, but still kind of cool because putting those errors down there are helpful. Could it be like a big error? Huh. We don't get an undefined error there. Name F is not defined, but name is defined? How is name defined? Name is an empty string? Since when? Is it possible that like the eval context persists from one run to another? I wouldn't think that it would. Where is that getting defined from? That's just crazy. Eval. No. Global. There's a global name? Name. A window.name. Really? JavaScript window.name. What the fuck? Crazy. Well, so very edge case thing. Debugger works. That's kind of cool. And well, if it were anything else, then we'd get that error. I was trying to think, like, sometimes errors are huge and have like a stack trace or whatever, but I don't think any of that's really that big a deal. We could add a minimal amount of padding to the status thing. We could also have a class that changes the color based on whether it's okay or not. Let's say font size 0.8 M, make it small. Padding 0.5 M. Boom. Yeah, but it's kind of weird. You don't need it to say okay. It just kind of takes up space. So what else could it do? Like, it could... well, there could be like a little hover thing there. It could just be like an icon. Shows that there's an error. It is kind of cool, though, that when you make an error, it doesn't nix your thing, so that then, like, as you fix your error, then it just comes back to life. So yeah, there probably should be like a error class. Let's say editor, or maybe it's this whole thing. Test equals this thing, and then test. Here we want test.rc error.ac. Okay. And then down here, add error class, remove. Okay, so I could say test.okay. Sheesh. This shouldn't. No, this is gonna run instantly. How do we, okay, so this is the test element, I believe. And then we just don't even need to set it here. Over here. Crazy. I mean, those little things are super annoying, but whatever. Should probably figure out. Yeah, like just referencing the thing is. I guess that's the way you do it in JavaScript. Okay, so error, A is not defined, blah, blah, blah. Well, here, so this is all good. And then if we make an error, it just kind of flags it. And then when we bring it back, it's from here to here. That's like you wouldn't know that the error goes away unless it like tells you. So that's pretty cool. So I'd have to think through how to use these. I could add some padding to the whole thing, to the test blocks. Let's just put it here for now. Add in 1M or something. That's way too much, but it also caused it to break, didn't it? Yeah, that's why it jumped down. We could also put a better visual on the, so maybe the viewport, I don't know. No, the viewport needs to stay put so it doesn't jump, and the content is sometimes empty. I don't know if I need both of these. I just feel like it might keep the layout more stable. Let's say viewport, background, RGBA 0.1, just so we can see this thing a little bit better. Oh, test, whoops, test, padding 1M. And then we could do a gap on, we just say gap here. We don't have that set up yet, but auto gap 1M. Okay. I feel like these should be lighter, not darker. So let's just say test background E. No, let's go D. Oops, D, and then which kind of matches that, which is whatever. I could even make these dark, and then they look pretty ghetto. I'd have to redesign them, but the viewport could then be, we just want like, this one was the E. So it's sort of white, but not completely white, maybe even, whoops. Yeah, I don't know. What's in between D and E? DF, E2, E7. I don't know, something like that. I mean, layout wise is just a little clearer, not necessarily better. If you fix the size, it probably doesn't auto respawn. Now it's scrollable once you fix it. Can you double click it? No. Once you fix it, it ain't going back. Refresh though, and then it goes into this auto mode, which is kind of cool. Now the content area that grows with it is that's cool. there be a there is a max width on the test. 1,000 pixels, I believe. Yeah. Put a name on these things, fix the styling so it looks cooler. I kind of think flipping the code and the view isn't kind of like how my brain works a little bit. No, it is like the code kind of generates the view. Oh Lord. Even before I finish that parenthesis, or like I push the parenthesis and it evaluates it even before the inputs update. Crazy. That's kind of annoying. What else? Well, I could do like auto columns in there, couldn't I? div.c auto. Well, let's just do like p left and p right. Why is it? Oh, because it broke. We can't really resize this one. Well, I mean, I could with code. Why is the width 403? When you resize it, it goes. It seems to still be. Wait, what? The width is growing here? No. That's weird. So it's just ignoring it. It's kind of a weird effect there. Browsers could handle that differently. Whoops, I should have saved that. Can we? No, Control Z doesn't work. div.c auto. Well, I mean, setting up different kind of editor layouts for different things. You know, could do like well, you just take the auto class off, and then it would go full width. Boom. Now this doesn't stretch, but it could. Might need to fix that, but then you could have div.c auto p left. Oh, there's an error. There we go. P right. Boom. It's cooler to see. And then, like, what do we do? Like, style. Whoops. Whoa. It's returning. Shouldn't it return itself? I don't return. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the style. The style method can be used as a getter for that thing, but okay, so if we just go like color red, boom. Now I think we can do something like this, and then we can't tab. Let's see if we can go back to our editor on key press or key down. I think press. And I think this is going to be the event. cool about log key press E. Text area key press E. How do we listen for tab key? Oh. Key down. Key down. And but yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking, but like if you hold it down, you gotta all right. All right. All right, Gemini, let's see. Test. Whoa. What happened? That was weird. Oh, I must have clicked on that. Okay, so lose my code every time. Div. Enter, up, tab. Ugh! Did it work though? No, it doesn't. Well, I did prevent default. Does it say tab key press? No, it doesn't. Pushing tab, right? Tab. Nope, doesn't work. Huh. Wait. I changed that to key down, didn't I? Ah, you motherfucker. I changed the wrong thing. Key down. Okay. Now, let's see. Div. Tab. This. It's because this needs to be the element itself, I believe. So this would be editor. L, I think. Editor.l. Editor. Oops. Editor.l. Again, something, enter, tab. Cannot read properties, value, this dot value, paste, missed those two. I think it was colored differently. Something, enter, tab, boom! That's a huge tab character. Holy shit, why does it do that? I like big tabs, but that's just huge. Tab character is enormous. Maybe style it down. Eight spaces. Boom. No way this works. There's no way. No way. Holy moly. That's cool. Div. Boom. Whoops. Let's fucking go. Tab works. Okay. much else that's going to work in my little editor, but it's super fucking simple, nice and lightweight, and definitely won't work on mobile. Potentially turn like 2 spaces into a tab character automatically, so if you just space, which is really easy. But that could backfire if you were like typing something. Maybe 3 spaces, because that's much less likely. Okay, so while this is cool, dicking around with it is not particularly useful. I generally think cleaning this up is good. I generally think, well, I could like, let's see what kind of styling we could do on this. Let's say background, let's make it dark. Oops. And then color. Something like that. That's kind of cool. Let's say border 0. We have to take off these other styles for, where is it? Text area, what? Oh, it's the whole test thing that gets the border. But I was thinking, yeah, that border looks so bad. It looks so much better without it. Did the text, did this border do anything? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I don't mind if there's the resize thing in there. It does kind of mess it up though, because should we get, it told me how to do it earlier. I don't know if it was in here. Text area. It was resize none. I kind of think hide vertical scroll bar shouldn't even be ever an issue if you're, but yeah, I mean, if you turn that off, you just don't accidentally mess it up and then be like, wait, what? Why do I have to resize this every time? Now the oh man, that outline, holy shit. Outline, none, boom, much better. So I could have maybe like a different, I don't think you need a focus. Was it just resize none? Boom, no resize. All right, let's bring these over. Copy, paste. All right, much cleaner. It's kind of small. What's the font size? 333. But his code, and it's not terrible. If I move this up, it doesn't grow. It's like a fixed 333. Everything else grows, but that doesn't. We do font size 1M. Boom! Why is that so big now? 20. Yeah, that's big. It does shrink. Whoa. And now it's back to 13. Because it's like less than... It goes up to 20? As this goes to 20. Why though? Why would the font size go scale differently than that's kind of weird. It doesn't shrink naturally. Well, it's like almost like it's set to a pixel amount. Font size doesn't have a default font size. But the font family as monospace might be font family cursive monospace. But monospace has a weird font sizing to it. Courier. And then font size 1M. It's not terrible. I kind of liked it. I kind of like that font. Yeah, Courier is weird. It's like a typewriter, not code. But the font size thing, when you have font family monospace, which is the default there, it like web safe code font. Courier new. Courier new. Is that better? Or is that the same? Font family. Courier. I don't know if you have to put that in quotes. No, it'd be like this. Let's see if quotes makes a difference. I don't think Courier and Courier new are any different. And I don't know, I don't really, not digging it. It's not terrible, it's just a little harder to read. Maybe I load up I mean, Montserrat is certainly not a coding font. Montserrat. There we go. Yep, definitely don't like that for code. So, what do? We load up a different font? Maybe. Not real, don't really want to do that. Fonts are kind of big. I guess we could just leave it for now. Monospace, let the browser do its thing. It's pretty damn small though. Okay, so I'm thinking we just get rid of the gap. We get rid of the padding. We get rid of the status thing for now. And even all this error business. But we do need some sort of background over there. Kind of think it should just go even, I don't want it to be white because I want to be able to see a difference there. Let's see if that's, we could do like test box shadow 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 1 pixel, RGBA 0.1. I believe is kind of my standard starting point. Select the text, click the box test, click the box shadow. That's really kind of strong, even though it's 0.03, but okay, I'll take it. Looks kind of cool. What, did I just copy this much? Yep. All right. Super minimal, huh? How about a border radius 5 pixels with an overflow hidden 4 pixels. Sweet. That looks so fucking awesome. It's like, and does it respond nicely? Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. Now should I flip it? So one of the cooler parts about flipping it, cut, Oh wait, no, auto. All right, this goes. This just goes up here. Now I might have to elevate. Should that be a problem? No, it doesn't appear that way. Is that better? I don't know. I'm actually kind of not sure now. I feel like they need a little more padding. Definitely more padding. On both of them. Now these are pretty big. Maybe this doesn't need to be so big. Just, I don't know. I wish I could get the text area to, let's see. Can text area vertical align text? Yeah, using padding for it's not great. Yeah, I could try and do that, but I don't know, maybe it's better. But I do think text areas for input have some advantages, I think, for like not fucking up the code, essentially. So we're gonna leave it. We're going to go just a little, oops, not that one. This one could be 2, but this one's gonna be maybe like 1.5, 4, 3, 5. Maybe it's like 1.2 and then 1.6. Boom. No, but like 1.4. Now we're talking. Is that right? Those are just so simple and awesome. Alright, somehow the box shadow is not showing up over here, or it's just so test. It should be on the whole damn thing, but I can't see it down there, and I think it's because it's just so dark. Alright, let's print screen. No, there's no box shadow there. Print screen. Let's take this whole thing into Figma so I can zoom in on it. Let's go, I guess this one, this one, this one. What is going on here? Let's draw a rectangle. Let's first make it white or whatever, and then, so this is 84. There's definitely a shadow there, right? 85, 86, 87. 87, 86, 84. Okay, so the shadow is like very gradual, and it's still there. It's just you can't tell. Crazy. All right, let's see. Where was I? Let's see if we just jack this up. Whoa, now that's a lot, and now it's visible, but I don't like it. We turn down the blur. I think generally tightening it up is often the way. See, that it's such a hard shadow on the side. I could brighten this side so that instead of it being so dark, it's something more like this, and then it's not as hard to, but I do kind of like that better. Version of code 444. let's just go with 0.1 again. What does that look like? No, not you. That's a big shadow. Alright, and I fucked up the padding. Padding on this one was going to be 2. Text area, padding, tab, wasn't it? Oh, it was on it. Where's the padding on the... Oh, right there, 2, and then the viewport was going to be 1.2, 1.4M, I think is what I was thinking. That's not terrible. The vertical alignment, you know, it almost seems like that should be vertical aligned, but if you like, well, you could just pull this up onto a different line, and then, can we do spell check, text area, no spell check, spelly check? Set the attribute spell check false. This guy dot attribute spelly check. That's a string. False. So now when I go delete, it doesn't redline that shit. And now it looks, you know, more centered. So div hello. So that little jump there. If we get rid of that, that would be cool. So how do we do that? I think it's just nudge this down to 1.1 maybe. There we go. Looks pretty good. Kind of a weird hack, but div. Hello, world. It's fucking sweet. And clean design just goes so far because it just looks sweet. Now I don't know, I could add a separate shadow to the text area. Let's just try copying the test box shadow. This is gonna make it way too strong, I think, but it might actually just work. Whoops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Looks like each text area has its own undo. It's overflow hidden. Motherfucker. It's not doing anything right now. So, I don't know. Also, I could do test margin bottom. It's probably already 1M. Let's see if we might want that to be more. I don't know. Not a big deal. Okay. Beautiful. So now I could start writing these examples, right? So this test block is a bit different than my other ones. I mean, in a way it's better, but the problem is that if I wanted to write, you know, writing code in quotes or even backticks is kind of a pain. So this is more of like, the name of this function probably shouldn't be test, but should be maybe be editor. And so then it's like an editable, or maybe it's like test.edit, and then you pass in some code so that it's editable code. Because it's fundamentally different. My other test blocks were something, this is going to throw an error if I save this, but was test name, and then you could pass in the test variable or just leave it empty and do stuff in here, and then it would group it with the console, and I did have it set up at one point to do assertions and count them up, and I was kind of taking notes earlier about getting back there, but I actually think these are just, you know, as a step one. I don't know, I'm almost thinking it should be reversed again. Maybe, I don't know, I was also thinking I could create a setting for it if you're like more right-brained or left-brained. You know, like the dev tools I keep on the right. My code is usually on the right. So for that reason, I might keep it like this. It's just a little like in terms of what comes first, you know, this, you know, you write the code first and then it generates this thing. And so it's maybe a little backwards, but I can also vertically align the output. So it would be this, would be make the content like a flex and centered. Because like if you, for example, did this, but I mean, no, I think the default web layout is top aligned, and so I think that's probably a mistake. All right, so using this to develop any kind of like actual widget where you kind of start trying to do something, and we start coding this out. It's not. Yeah, I mean, I just lost my example. Anyway, I was thinking, ooh, that's interesting. Actually, use the test name, but it's throws an error. Maybe I should have like some sort of visual, a little icon could be cool, just to show that this isn't working. But yeah, I mean, I made it, you know, took off the max width, so now it just goes full width. Also breaks nicely. It's fucking sweet. So it would work on mobile. You're gonna be limited in terms of what you can do on mobile, obviously, but I mean, this is definitely okay. So test versus editor. What was I thinking here? Yeah, writing the code in these blocks, like it evaluates it properly, and so you can kind of see what it does. But like writing out tests in backticks is, I don't think that's the idea here. Generally, for most, you know, testing, like the automated tests, like you don't really need to be able to edit it in the browser. It's more the learning apparatus for if you don't know what you're doing, you can test it out in the browser. I would say syntax highlighting is nice, but I just don't think it's worth dicking around with it. Maybe I should get a new font for. Well, I'd like to make it a little bigger. What kind of, if I added that font size 1M, it does some weird responsive thing, and I couldn't figure that out. It goes way small down here, and it jumps, but it's not me. It's going from 13 to 16. It might have something to do with my responsive font sizing that kicks in right at this font size 1 point. Yeah, it is. It's the body font size gets changed to 1.2 VW. But it shouldn't actually change much of a difference, or make much of a difference rather. It should go from the same, 16 to 16. That 1.2 VW. So that's kind of weird. I think it's because of the monospace font. It took me a while to figure that out one time, but if the font family is monospace, the browser does some funky business with it. And also it's going to just get way too big way up here, I think. I don't know. It's not terrible. It doesn't fix anything down here. Marginally. So, okay, so maybe we need to change the name of this from test to editor. And then write some posts to teach people how to get down on the web. I could also make HTML blocks that also do the same thing, but instead of evaluating the JavaScript and rendering it, it just does, inner HTML. I mean, that'd be super easy, right? Should probably also make these like object-oriented classes so that if I wanted to modify its behavior, it's not all just slapped together willy-nilly. But, I'm just thinking of all the... Oh, I have all these protein bars here. Of all the things that I've tried to do, thought about doing, potential for results, I think creating a course where I can walk people through how this shit works I could then show people how to get it set up on their machine. Start making their first real web page. Probably don't even need a router or any funny business. Alright. So, let me write some notes. Well, it could be something like editor.html and then put it in there like that. Whatever the heck that property is capitalized. Could create like a CSS tab like a lot of these have. So editor could be a super function, defaults to JavaScript. And then, what about editor.css? But then it would have to be grouped with something else, or it just chucks it in the page. Actually, why the fuck not? Now, that's where iframe could come in handy. Which I believe is how most of these sandbox thingies work. I don't even think that would be that hard. I think we could generate an iframe instead of, just an element. But that would require either loading the modules from. Alright, let's think this through. Probably a waste of time, but in order to do CSS per example without risking site-wide problems, which, I mean, I guess for JavaScript it could be the same thing. Like maybe it's just safer to eval the JavaScript in an iframe. The problem is, do you really want an iframe, a different iframe running for each example? I mean, this is pretty lean and mean. We want an iframe for each example. Is it too heavy? It loads a lot of extra shit that you might not need or want, like, well, just a new window element, essentially, new document model, new everything, new context. But like an embedded YouTube video is an iframe. Most people have 100 tabs open at once. It's not like it's that bad. But if you had like 12 or more on one page, it could start slowing things down. So it stops the main page from crashes. I mean, so far I haven't even been able to crash the main page because of the try block. Also, the whole thing here is like, how would you create an iframe dynamically? No actual URL. I think you create blob URLs for the HTML and JS. I think that's it. But then the problem with that is that how do URL paths work inside these blob URLs. Absolute paths, like app.js, should work fine, I think. And then, well, creating a sandbox type application would just be a whole nother level of complexity, and you'd want to be able to save things and make sure that your time spent creating something doesn't just go down the shitter. But I mean, seeing how simple this is and how much potential there is for like actually people creating useful layouts, styles, widgets, whatever. I mean, you could put must provide a callback. It's actually from my view library. Sure, let's give you a callback. So that's cool. But yeah, it's just like the immediacy of being able to test shit. You don't have to like read code over here and think about how to implement it into your app. It's just like see it, click it, run it. Super interactive. I mean, it'd be cool if like every element you could just flip open a little code panel next to it, add like an event handler, and then close it again, and it's all just kind of neatly organized with each element. I think there's massive potential in streamlining the whole development apparatus. Oh, that looks crazy. All right, so yeah, I mean, teaching JavaScript, it's like you don't even need the view for JavaScript things. You could have like a full width JavaScript area for just typing code. But I'd say probably one of the better ways to just see what's going on is to like render something. And it doesn't have to be like, you can't really just render an object right now. I've set those up in the past to render like property viewers, you know, or like object viewers, so it'll just iterate over all the properties, and that's not really hard to do. But oh, by the way, do I have like, oh, I do have all, I didn't even think about whether my variables were accessible. In fact, I think it's where you call eval. So I think like the content here, let's just console.log content. Boom. Yep, that's crazy. All the variables in the scope where you've called eval are available to the evaled code. Could be dangerous if, you know, but I don't think it's there's really much consequence there. Let's get rid of this tab key press thing. But yeah, so like, what was I thinking was available here? What was all these guys? But what was, oh, the icons. Icon. What was the, I don't think there's a beer icon, is there? No, they have funny names. They should have rendered some sort of icon though. Yep, material icons, beer. Alright, where's the material icons? I should try and I forget which set I was using. I think it's this old one. Dashboard is cool. Should it just be called dashboard? But like, boom. That's pretty sweet. It looks like an S. I mean, the potential there is just huge. It's like, I do kind of think vertically centering that icon would just be kind of better. It would mean that as you write more code, it would automatically center it, and you might be confused why, but sure, it wouldn't be that terrible. Or, I don't know, it's fine. I guess having it vertical aligned is not a bad thing. Copy, paste, paste, paste. Does it not update on paste, or does this throw an error because we have none on dish? Yeah, it's probably an error. None on dish. There we go. Oh baby, look at the iconography. What else we got? Well, I could just try and... I've thought about trying to create a script to suck all these into a better system. Kind of need to tag them or something. I mean, I guess they are all filled. Home. But how do they... It's the same word, it's just... Is that... I think I've loaded the filled bit. That one's kind of cool. Verified user. Oh man, that's so fast. It's crazy. Bug. Report. That's cool. Now creating little icon buttons that do something. Could create a function like icon button, but it's, I mean, the icon is sort of it. It's just the styling on them are kind of shit. It's inline, or is it inline? No, they're inline block, which works all right. It's just, I don't think, I feel like I had a problem with it before. Can we just do font size 2M? It's 24 pixels by default, so, I mean, these can get really big, which is kind of cool. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Oh man, responsive, auto-responsive. It's so fucking awesome. Don't have to do any breakpoints or whatever. All right, so it's a big bug. I'm not sure if the default styling for these is best though. Also, the CSS that comes from the framework file might not be there unless I make sure to include it, but okay, so what am I thinking here? Let's go back to some notes. Yeah, forget the iframe thing for now. I mean, I actually kind of think having a view render for visualizing the HTML is not a bad idea. But again, you can just come in here and inspect it, and it's, you know, it's useful to have all this shit figured out. So I don't think going that route is going to help me much. These little icons up in the top corner here just look so sweet. Like, I kind of feel like putting some around here to make it look more like a UI. Well, here, let's just copy this, come back to our page. Can I Control-Shift-D without losing my paste? Let's see. Yes. And then style, font size, 10M. Why did that happen? That's weird. Well, I had these, copy, paste, and like this one, but without the, yeah, but then I inspected this one and then did font size 10M. Why were they at the top before? Oh, ho, 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 ho. Why? Why would that happen? Is this like some sort of inline block wizardry? Inline block is going to wrap the third item to, oh yeah, so it just wraps. Here they're like inline horizontally, here they're inline vertically. Well, these are horizontal and this one goes vertical. Anyway, that was a little confusing, but that's fine. So, also kind of cool. Might want to adjust these, but I mean, as for a blog post, like these little code blocks that you can edit are pretty friggin' sweet. Pretty fucking sweet, man. I mean, like, this is just basic JavaScript. Kind of learning what these do. I could create like a write function that just basically puts text into the current view without doing anything, but I don't think that's really necessary. Also, I kind of like this order. I mean, I could switch it from, you know, the other way to then putting the code on the bottom using flex order property, but I also feel like a min height on these empty ones maybe would be cool. Just to, let's do that. Viewport min height 2M, 3M, 4M. Probably do that on both the viewport and the other thing. Min height 4M, but the other one's pretty much 4M. So boom. Okay. Anyway, all right, so I gotta package this up as an editor. I could try and extend like the view class, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Instead of calling it a test, it could be an editor. And although editor, I've had a lot of visions for like a Figma, Notion type editor that I don't know if maybe it's just like a example. And now all of a sudden this 4M min height seems too much because it's propping that open and now it's not centered properly, but how about, or it's just 3.5. Is that better? .6. Just like splitting hairs here. Okay, so well, why don't we create some of these that would kind of walk people through how to use it. First, we would say you want to do a div hello world. Boom. test div.c class name. Hello world. I have a class CSS class. So when we inspect, we kind of get this viewport thing with some weird layout, kind of weird, but if we go here, we see our div with the class name. And if we change it, it updates the whole viewport, and so it collapses the thing. It'd be cool if you could see it in real time, but you can't. You have to re-inspect it, but essentially it's, oops, not that one, this one. It's what you would think it would be. If we refresh that, it goes back to what it started as. Yeah, I mean, having the HTML kind of view, basically just that div.className type thing there, could be kind of cool. But again, I mean, generally, I think most people could pick up on how HTML and CSS work pretty quickly without like having to be so explicit about it. I do think having code examples and even like matching code examples that can go inline. Okay, so let's say we had a paragraph right here. Let's say I had a paragraph right here to explain the codes. Can I put a L pre div in here? And then I could do like pre background 444 color EE. Ooh, why is it full with? Yeah, I think pre code are both viable options here. Boom, that's an inline one. But then we'd want to do, well, I think we'd want to do these differently. Let's say for code, we want padding 0.2m, 0.4m maybe. Border radius 2 pixels. And then 0.3m on the bottom because it looks all improperly weighted on top for whatever reason. Those parentheses are now, the parentheses are kind of low on that bit. Maybe not. Yeah, then it just seemed like too much space under the div letters. Okay, so there is no space after that, which there should be. So now we can put some code into the text. Ugh. Making sure to put spaces around it. And why is the alignment so off? Maybe it's not, it's just, it is inline, right? Line height, what is the display flex? I don't think so. Maybe computed. Display inline, I think is the default. I mean, that doesn't look terrible. And then, what else? Well, yeah, we could try and do a pre-block. L pre. Maybe we do one of these. Div does, and then free adding 1M for now, and then maybe 1M, 2M, probably 1.5M, or 1.8. Trying to get that to line up. What is this one? Padding 2M. 1M, 2M. Boom. Maybe even 1.5M, 2M. Boom. Maybe even 1.522 to put some more on the bottom for whatever reason it's not. So these aren't editable. It looks so much like this one that maybe it should be editable, but what's that border radius? Border 0. What's on this thing? 4 pixels, yeah. Border radius 4 pixels. So now it matches, but it does kind of feel like it should be editable. Margin bottom 1. Maybe 2M. Okay. These 2M? I would assume so. Margin bottom 1.4. It could be a little more. Let's try 2. I think I was messing around with this before. When it gets bigger, it gets real big. Yeah, these look a little different, but ooh, that pre is monospace. Because the font size, I didn't specify a font size though. Why is it being so weird? Maybe I do font size 1M. I kind of like the smaller one, but when in Rome, on a giant monitor, it's going to be easier to read. It does get pretty damn small though. I don't know. I really don't like this monospace business, but it does kind of work. It just gets so small right there. Boom. It has something to do with the viewport width units, and I'm not sure. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay. So yeah, this doesn't look real good on a super wide screen. I mean, it could help for certain things. Although if you wanted to do like columns, maybe doing a non-auto layout. Well, that kind of breaks, but essentially doing a full width would be better, but I can play around with that. Let's refresh. And yeah, these code blocks are cool because you can put whatever you want in them, and then forget syntax highlighting. Got some nice little. Okay, so the thing I was going to try out is let's say I didn't want to quote and unquote all the time because that's a pain in the butt. What if I could just use these little curly expressions to put L code probably can't do backticks inside. Oh man, what if that worked? That would be crazy. Anyway, let's just stick to oh man, quotes within quotes within quotes. Where's that Q? Alright, is that gonna work? Doesn't. Did not work. Okay, why? Because it's not designed to work that way. It would have to essentially render to raw HTML. So I could create like a little code function that would work that way, where it renders the raw HTML and inserts it in the expression, and then the append would have to be set up to append raw HTML rather than text, which I believe right now it just appends it as text. So that kind of sucks. It created the thing properly, it just didn't put it in the right spot. And so doing comma code comma is the only way to really do it. Definitely a pain in the butt, but for, you know, limited cases. I also would like to at some point create an editor that, you know, just assists in formatting and creating these spans and whatnot. Is there a different way I could do it? I think just doing the end quote, comma, code, comma, start quote. I think that's the best way. It's almost as easy. Doesn't get as confusing with all the stuff. Okie dokie. So where are we here? I could change the name of the function to editor. I could try and create a class for it, although I don't know if I need to. I do like the idea of creating a new editor via an editor function, kind of just following the same pattern. Makes it more extendable. It's kind of crazy what it's doing. I didn't actually skim through this code, but it's resetting the entire text area and inserting the tab character at the right spot, and then replacing the cursor after where it was plus the tab character. Looks like it's a different width because it's doing, yep, it's doing like smart tabs or something. Not really sure how that works. All right, last thing. Oh, I was gonna try and find an icon for error. Error. Don't mind that one. FMD. Bad. What the heck is FMD? Kind of like these, but stop. Report Gmail errored. I also kind of like this one. The triangle is kind of cool. Let's try that one. Report problem. So in the error, or in the test, I think maybe we put this somewhere down here even. Just say icon hide. Say editor dot icon equals this, and then we're gonna say editor dot error equals div dot c error, and then how are we gonna do this with the tooltip and whatever? I haven't even done tooltips before. I want it to hover and show. Maybe it's just like alt text or something. Might need to change all of that, but I just put the icon inside this thing. Let's just not hide the icon itself. We're just gonna hide the whole error thing, and then hide, and here editor.error.show, and also before we do that, can't we do? Can you put a hover alt text on a div? Attribute title message. Let's give it a shot. Cannot read undefined. Okay, so this needs to go. Maybe just before the update, I think is actually the thing there. Okay, and then let's just put an error in there. Boom, boom. Okay, and then we hover. Boom, nice. That didn't S error. This would be like something like a test error. Red. Boom. That's a friggin' red. Holy smokes. Whoops. Boom, boom. Color red. Let's make it a dark red. Still kind of red. Maybe not as red. Oh, I have primary. Just use my primary. Or what did I do? Color. How do we do that? Var? Prime. Kind of hard to see, but fix that. Oh, it's just this one. Position. Can we just do position absolute? Okay, and then right 0, bottom 0. Did that go down there? Yep. So we need test. I think it's position relative. Boom, shakalaka. Now that looks fucking sweet right there. Actually looks sweet. So we want right, I don't know, like 0.5M. That's too far. No? Okay. And then bottom like 0.2M. And I think it's kind of big, but oh yeah, and we don't want cursor pointer, but we don't want, I think we want something like user select none, and then maybe we need to reset the cursor to, ooh, nice. Nice. Perfect. But it's not real obvious that the error is going to hover the proper thing. Also, all right, so let's make an error and hover it. Invalid unexpected token goes away. How about when it changes, like, yeah, I mean, you have to, I think you have to rehover it. It's not like it's good, but that's a, man, this is like flying a little too high up here, I for now. Okay. These icons are using my background color. I think, actually, we could just... How did that work? Var VG. Boom. Use that same bit for all the darkness. Boom. Oh, it just has that like purple hint to it. Looking pretty slick. Not gonna lie. Alright, now what? We need... Yeah, so the class name thing, I think it works. Now, I'm not really specifying where the CSS goes, so that's kind of a thing. I don't know, maybe just a little more padding top on these guys would be the right... I think I already changed... Oh, no. I think I already changed this at one point to try and equalize it better, but I don't know why it's looking so off now. Actually, I kind of think something just even Steven right there is not bad, but why did I have it so far off? It has something to do with when it resizes. Oh, I did change the size of the other font. Well, I think that's fine. 1.4 viewport. 1.4 straight across. Alright. Still off, but not terrible. What size is that? Almost 20, where it tops off. Alright, I'm liking it. So, could record a video to help explain it. Could even create a video for each example, but that's kind of excessive. I think maybe breaking them down into just super simple examples is not a bad way to go. Although, like, if it's so simple that it only takes less than a minute to explain it, you don't want to have like 100 1-minute videos. You'd want to just cover the basics all at once. So generally, div.c, then we would have something like, let's move this down, L. Here, let's do P. This is a paragraph. We can just put it in here. P. C. This is a paragraph with a CSS class. And that obviously needs the CSS class. And we should probably just put an extra line in there to we can even put comments in there, like comments aren't syntax highlighted, so it's Yeah, but I'm kind of missing some of the magic here, so test div.c thing. Fucking hell. These paragraphs are inside a div class equals thing. Let's do one. This is inside. If it gets too small, it's gonna wrap, but whatever. Could even then do it's the code. I have the backticks. Whoa, 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 that scared me. Holy shit. How do I do that to, I think I would have to switch from backticks. I think I need to just keep writing it like this. Actually, this might work fine. L code div class thing is the code. Does that work? So that combines two different things. And so it kind of glosses over the whole capturing thing. Like, so maybe using flex here is not a bad idea. Test div.c flex. P left, P right. With JavaScript. For let I equals 0. Well, let's just go 1. I is less than equal to 10, I plus P. This is paragraph I. L UL, this will be a cool one, and then L LI. List items seriously need some help here. UL. Once you get UL bullet left aligned. Know what I mean. I don't think that's going to work, but let's see. List style position outside. Is that on the UL? Let's just copy it. UL. Did that do anything? No. Yeah, it changes the. No, it doesn't. I thought it changed the positioning, but. Alright, so the UL has this, is it padding left? Padding inline start. Weird thing, but let's just do this. Padding left 1.4M. Now, does that work as it resizes? Yeah, it looks like it all scales properly. And then LI margin bottom 2.5M, maybe? Much better. Now this is margin bottom 1M, but I don't think we want so much on those. I think that's fine. It's cool when they're next to each other, right? When I was doing it down here, yeah, this is definitely harder to read. Now the reason why I think I'm going to keep it this way is because on mobile, if you click into these things, your text, your keyboard is going to be down here underneath it. And so it's just a little closer to read what you're actually typing. I'll have to test that out, but so I could break this down even simpler and be like, because I haven't really spelled it out that we're capturing functions. So yeah, the function arguments here are div times all the, oh, it's really, so the L div P etc. all and all the L.C div.c P.c etc. add the class. Then append the rest. Man, just getting some fucking headers in there. Doesn't that look so sweet? I mean, I kind of like the background being light. Now this isn't even white. Now this could even go white. So it's super bright. And then lighten up the background a little bit. Could work nice. I mean, the white looks kind of cool. But then you don't have the ability to do like white on top of it, which is minor trade-off. I don't know, I kind of like this. And then, you know, well, like you could do something like this, background white, boom. So then white actually is a thing. Because if you use white for your box, then you can't really see when something's actually white. So what else here? Yeah, man, somebody could just add a 0. Boom. Or another 0. Boom. We just counted to 1,000. It happened like instantly too. It's so fast. It's so cool. Boom. Let's go back. Where are we? No, did we lose our focus? No, it's still there. It just makes the page jump, and we're not going to try and deal with that. All right, let's refresh. All right, so you know, I could definitely add syntax highlighting to these. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to maybe like do some sort of markdown rendering for like paragraphs or something, so that I could put stuff in there. Well, I think I'm gonna leave this at this for a minute. I'll have to come back to this later. Later, peeps.